Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode, and we will look at a case regarding what happens when a home inspector misses deficiencies and the buyers end up buying the property and discovering those deficiencies shortly after closing. So the case name is Miller Desjardins versus JF Lajoie Construction Inc. And it's a Superior Court case from 2025. So what happened here is that the buyers hired a home inspector. The home inspection fee was $425. The inspector produced a 13-page report, but ultimately it did not capture some of these serious deficiencies, which cost around $62,000 to fix. And these were things like foundation repairs, roof replacement, window and door replacement. So quite a lot of money and quite big misses from the home inspector. So what happened here? So as I mentioned, it was a home purchase, residential home, and the buyers hired a home inspector. They had a condition for a home inspection. But in this case, the home inspector did not have a written contract, which is key because many times, as you probably know, the home inspectors do have a contract which says that they're not liable if they miss something, which is very problematic, of course, for buyers because they rely on this report. And if something is missed, it can be very costly. And in this case, there was no written contract with the home inspector, so which was very bad for the home inspector, as we will see. So the buyers closed on this property and leaks and defects were discovered days after closing, and they went after the home inspector. And so the court in this case found that the home inspector must follow industry standards. In some ways, the home inspector was not following industry standards. And although he did produce a 13-page inspection report, it was found to be inadequate by the court. And some significant defects were missed, as I mentioned. And so the court found that because there was no contract, no written contract with the home inspector, and there was no limitation of liability clause, of course, because there was no written contract and the verbal contract did not have such a clause, the inspector was liable for the deficiencies. There were some deficiencies which the court found the inspector was not liable for, but the $62,000 roughly of damages to fix those things that I mentioned, foundation and things like that, the inspector was liable. So quite a lot of money for the inspector who just made $425 from this inspection. So some takeaways for lawyers here. The inspectors can be liable, but usually they're well protected by the limitation of liability clause in their contracts. Now, if there's no contract, like in this case, their liability is unlimited. And the reports have to be thorough, of course, by these home inspectors. So if your clients are getting a home inspection report, it goes without saying they have to pick somebody who is reputable. They really have to do their research and find somebody with a good history and make sure that person produces a thorough report and looks at all the relevant parts of the house. And if the defects are discovered, then the buyers can pursue their damages against the inspector. In some situations, they can also pursue the sellers. We won't get into the details of that here because that's another kind of area of law with many details. But they can go after sellers if, for example, the defects were hidden. And also sometimes the real estate agent can be liable too if they knew about the issues potentially. But at the end of the day, it's most important to speak with a litigation lawyer to analyze the situation to see what went wrong and who can be pursued for the deficiencies. So I hope you found this episode useful and I hope it helps you with your practice, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.